Hey there, Freedom Builders, and welcome again to our weekly coaching sessions. This is your opportunity to ask any questions you may have, all things Amazon. And I'm joined again by popular demand. I'm joined by Cole Clifton. It's exciting to have you here with me again, Cole. You're amazing last week, so we had to have you back. How's it going?
Well, thanks, Rolando. Yeah, hey, glad to be back. I had a fun time last week. We had some good questions, so thanks for having me on again. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. And I am going to just do a little setup here because we have a new link that I have to share with everyone. So let me just go ahead and do that real quick. And as you guys know, just a quick announcement that we actually have the JungleCon happening at the moment. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely you'll want to go and take a look. Some excellent tutorials. And so what I'll do is once we end here, I'll drop the links directly to YouTube where you can get the playlist. If you've missed yesterday, today's the last day. It's a 2-day event, but definitely you'll want to check those videos out. And Cole and I will make a little cameo later today, right?
Yeah, we'll make a guest appearance here. I think it's in a couple hours.
Let me go ahead and drop this link for everyone. Join. All right, looks like we've got one viewer, so slowly but surely, I'm sure everybody will make their way here.
It's one-on-one coaching right now.
Exactly. One-on-one coaching. Oh, there we go. The numbers are coming up. All right, but we already have some questions that we'll start fielding and start answering. So I don't know if you want to read through that first one there, Cole. I don't know if you see have that one up.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Is it on the original one we had? I'm trying to find. Let me see here.
Yeah, so it'd be the one. All right.
Yeah, maybe if you could read it, I'm having trouble finding it at the moment.
Cool. So I shared the link with everyone, and it looks like everybody's tuning in right now. But you could always watch this in replay, so that's the beauty of it. But the first question comes from Rachna, and the question is, I'm running an auto campaign on my recently launched Amazon listing. My one very relevant keyword, which I have included in my title, has 19,000 impressions, 100 clicks, and no sales. Am I spending maximum on this keyword? For example, customer search term also. What can I do about this situation? What I will say, if you're running an auto campaign, keep in mind it's not going to be very targeted. This is going to be one of the most broad types of campaigns, and really what Amazon's doing is it is pulling from your listing. It is pulling from keywords that you've put in your title and the bullet points, and as we talk in the back end search terms. That's what Amazon's trying to do, and it's trying to find relevancy and trying to find your target customer. Now, the keep in mind also that with auto campaigns, there's not a whole lot of optimization that you can do. There are some advanced things and the advanced settings within an auto campaign, such as placement, as to if you want to place a higher bid on the placement of your sponsored ad. However, there's not a whole lot of targeting. If you're really trying to target on a keyword, then you would want to use a manual campaign. And either like a phrase or an exact match would be more specific and targeted. Now, going beyond that, so that being said, so I just wanted to cover how auto campaigns work. Like they're just, they're going to be a little higher ACoS. They're a very discovery-based type of campaign. But if you're getting lots of impressions and you're getting clicks, then what's possible is now we want to walk down that sales funnel, right? Like, okay, so Amazon is displaying my ad. Good. Number one, people are clicking because my main image and my title, something lured them in as they were scrolling on, in the search, in the listing phase. And then when they get to your actual listing, now it's going to be all your other images that support, right? And your lifestyle image, your lifestyle images, your copy, and your bullet points. All of that now is going to be the next phase. But I would say this is. Don't worry, the numbers that you shared there, they're not. They just need a little more time, and the algorithm needs to get sharp, get smarter, based on your current listing. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. So if you have one specific search term within your automatic campaign that's got the 100 clicks, if that's what you're referring to, another option would be to add that search term to a negative within your automatic campaign. So then your automatic campaign will continue to run as normal. It'll continue to show up for the other words or products that you have within that automatic campaign. It's just going to no longer show up for that one search term that wasn't performing well for you. If you've gotten 100 clicks on a word, the chances are it's probably not as relevant as you think it is if you haven't converted the sale. So probably something you would want to do is take that specific search term and add that to a negative, and then you'll no longer be spending on that word.
Awesome. Okay, so Rachna has the next question. For a new listing, Amazon shows less units available and rest in reserved. What does that mean? Should we delay launch and wait for more units to become available?
So
yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take the lead on that one. So when you have a shipment get checked into Amazon, there's typically a lag period. Maybe it's like a week or so, where the remaining units are in reserve. And what that means is Amazon is basically sending those units to other fulfillment centers that they have across the country. It just kind of takes a few days before they actually push those through to available. So as far as waiting to launch, what I would say, or what I typically do, is that I like to have at least a decent amount of units available before I start running my PPC campaigns, because you don't want to run PPC campaigns if you don't have any inventory. It's not going to convert well. So I would just make sure you have a reasonable amount of units that are showing up as available before you start to kind of go full board and drive traffic through PPC. But it usually doesn't take a whole lot of time for that to happen.
So, Rachna, this is awesome. You started dropping the questions, so you get first dibs. The next question here: can we change the main hero image on our listing anytime? Does changing images have any negative impact on performance at backend? So your main image can be changed out at any time. However, I would say do it strategically. If, for example, we talk about doing what you call an A/B test or a split test. If you would want to set a time frame, maybe 14 days, 7 to 14 days. You test one image as your main image, and maybe you have others that you could test out. Run it for a week or longer, but the time frame has to be exact. So if you started, say, Sunday morning, and you would probably end it right at like the following Sunday morning, and then just kind of do the same thing, cycle through the next image and see which one performs better by conversions. You'll see an increase in terms of impressions on your PPC campaigns. You'll start seeing more click-throughs and even more conversions. Whichever one wins, then that's essentially how you would determine which image to pick and choose. Which overall, there is a tool called Splitly, and it's phenomenal at automating this process for you. So if you just go to splitly.com, you can go in and it's actually, this is a tool owned by Jungle Scout. We just don't have it built into Jungle Scout, and it will automate this whole process of A/B testing, split testing. So you would just give the images that you want to test out. you could even test out like titles. You could test out bullet points. So yeah, so it's worth the investment if you're at that phase. In the early stages, the main thing is that your listing is just thorough, it's complete, you've got all your keywords in there. And so, but then down the road, when you want to start optimizing, then you could use a tool like Splitly. So that's splitly.com. I'll drop a link in the comments for those of you that are interested and are at that phase of optimization. So, oh wow, looks like we got, let's see. Yeah, we're getting more questions. Let's see here. Able to.
Yeah, they're flowing in.
Cool. Let me drop that link here. Splitly.com. Then we got the next one. I think it was Rashna again.
He's got 4 in a row.
I'm running coupons on my newly launched product. My coupon has been clipped 10 times, but not redeemed. Does that mean that customers are taking their time to make the purchase decision? Yes and no. So I'll go ahead, Cole.
No, I was just going to say it could mean that, and it could mean that they copied the link or they copied the coupon code and then they just decided not to purchase the product. So that is fairly common. I know when I run coupons that a lot of them get clipped and then never actually redeemed. So if it's only happened 10 times, just give it time. That's going to be a pretty common thing. Not everyone who clips the coupon is going to actually purchase the product. So just give it some more time and that number should change a little bit.
Yeah, and it sounds like your listing is relatively new. So definitely the goal here is to allow some time for once again, for Amazon and the A9 algorithm and all that's happening for your listing to start to and it's great that you're running PPC because you're now being able to be placed on page 1 immediately versus, page 2000. And so that definitely, that's something that you keep in mind. Just give it a little more time when it comes to these types of coupons, or when it comes to your automatic campaigns. They do require a little time. Let's see here. All right. Angela asks, what is the alt text in A+ content? So alt text, so when you have alt, how should I say this? So when you're creating your A+ content, you're going to notice that you upload the image and there's a little text field where it's ideally for like a title or a description of the image. That's what we call alt text. It's literally the image or the description, or it's the text field on the image that you're uploading to your A+ content. Now, you probably have been watching JungleCon, and there was, and I think it was, Stephen Pope talked about utilizing that, and he ran an experiment, and that he's fairly convinced that alt text is used by Amazon's A9 algorithm, and or for your listing optimization. So that's why I've always been a big proponent of definitely fill in every field as best and as thorough as possible with keywords, just because we don't know what Amazon, what Amazon is taking in as a factor and what they're not. So just be as thorough and use the alt text field. Based on what Stephen Pope says, the experiment he's ran, it does make a difference. So use your keywords in there as well. And
yeah, I think that's an interesting one. Yeah, for sure. If they give you an open field, make the use of it. We don't really know what Amazon uses and what they don't, so might as well fill it all out.
And it was really interesting. You definitely want to watch the optimization, what would you call it? Session with Stephen Pope. He digs deep into how to optimize your listing, gives some good little nuggets, including that little hack of the alt text. And like I said, I'll drop all the playlists here at the end of it, and then you'll all have it for you to be able to view later. All right. I'm lost. Let's see if there's so many.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to load them on my end too right now. Let's see here.
Okay. Oh, actually, that was the end of the pre-submitted questions. So now we get to the real-time questions. So awesome. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Start it back up.
All right, I think I got the first question here from Angela. Has another question. How do we increase the stock limits other than branching out into different storage areas? So I think the biggest thing for increasing your stock limits is tied to this IPI score that Amazon gives you. And it's basically an overall grade that relates to how well you manage your inventory. And if you're having inventory that sells well, if you have inventory where you're not overstocked, that's going to play a factor into increasing your storage limits. They have the one conversion. I'm drawing a blank on what it is, Rolando. The sell-through rate is a big conversion that they have that basically means how quickly do you sell through your inventory that you have at Amazon. So the rate at which you're selling your inventory, the ability to stay in stock but also not be overstocked is going to play a big factor in increasing your IPI score, which ultimately leads to having an increase in storage limits.
So looks like ZR has the next question, asking, "Hi guys, my ACOS is skyrocketing for very relevant keywords. I'm getting tons of costly clicks, but no sales. Is it because my listing doesn't have any reviews yet? I'm not sure how to get reviews. I've been clicking the request for review button with little to no sales. I think it's hard to get reviews. I need help." Definitely, in today's day and age, I wish there was a hack to getting reviews, but ultimately, Amazon has really cracked down on on the gray and especially the black hat tactics that were used of old to get reviews. So definitely, I would say that automate the process of requesting a review for one. Through Jungle Scout, you can go in and you can turn on the dial and it will automatically do that process for you so that that's one less concern, one less worry for you. And as far as your ACOS and reducing it, it really comes down to optimization. And I think that optimizing for one, your listing, and then optimizing your PPC campaigns, it's a continuous process of trial and error. And you had some good tips on reducing ACOS, Cole, that you shared in our roundtable. It'd be neat if you could talk about those as well.
Yeah, I think the first thing is it's a new listing. Your ACOS is going to be high, and that is because you don't have very many reviews. So don't be too worried about that. You want to obviously keep it in check and prevent any overspending. But definitely just keep in mind it's a new listing and your ACOS isn't going to be as profitable as you want once you have more sale or more reviews. And in terms of those reviews, the rate at which you get reviews on Amazon isn't very high. I think on average it's around 3%. So if you make 100 sales, you're probably going to only end up with around 3 reviews. So just keep that in mind. It does take time. But as far as reducing your ACOS, there's a few different things you can do for that. One is if you have a word that's not performing well and say you've got 10, 15 clicks on it, but you think the word is still relevant, maybe something you can try is reducing the bid that you have on that word. That'll give you a chance to get more clicks on that word, get some more feedback to decide if it's going to be a profitable word for you or not. But if it gets to a point where it's just really not doing well for you, if you've gotten a number of clicks and it's not converting, as we mentioned earlier, you can always add a word to negative. So I think first trying a word out, give it a chance to perform, decrease the bid if you need to. And if it gets to a point where it's just not converting, you can always move that word to negative as well. Or you can pause that word. Either or would probably accomplish the same goal. So I think, yeah, just give it time and get some data on it and then make changes as you get more feedback.
Yeah, not having reviews doesn't necessarily increase your ACOS. It's just the click to conversion is what what increases your ACOS, right? So if you're having low conversions, then I always like to take a step back and see, okay, what is deterring people to buy my product? Is it my price? Is it my my sales copy? I always talk about how you really want to emphasize the benefits of your product over the features. So definitely, put yourself in the customer's shoes and see how, just think of what it is, how they want to, what that experience is like for them if they own it, how they almost can't live without your product. So definitely take that step back and just look at it, try and actually, get feedback from friends and family if you can, just to see what the perception, the immediate perception is of the product, because all marketing and all sales comes down to perception and perceived value. And so if you can create, the perception of high quality and the case, you just want to make the case for your product. And that's all I want to say is and that overall will help reduce your ACOS.
Yeah, I know as a shopper. Yeah, I know as a shopper, when I see a product with, say, 1,000 reviews, I'm going to be a lot more likely to buy that one than a product that has 20 reviews. So obviously the conversion is going to get better as you get more reviews, likely. So just give it time.
All right. Angela asks, when adding emojis instead of bullet points, how do you get rid of the bullet point that Amazon actually puts in? Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of emojis. I don't know if you are, Cole. Are you?
I've got them on one of my listings. The rest of them I do not, and I don't really know how I feel about them either. And it's one of those gray areas with Amazon. I'm sure eventually I'll probably just remove them. I don't think they do a whole lot for my listing, and I'd rather not toe the line. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Stephen Pope, I don't know if he mentioned it in this session, but I know when we had him on Mastermind, he did say he was a fan of them. But yeah, I just, just so everyone's aware, I don't really know where Amazon stands on that. So I don't know if we can technically say one way or the other, what way we would recommend.
And to add to that, to me, the reason I say I'm not a fan in particular is it's on a product by product basis, right? So say, for example, my product is like a serious product, right? It's like an office product, an office supply. Definitely, I would not use emojis. It's always about identifying your target audience. If it's it's a product for children, that's probably a place where emojis would come into play, because it's not, you could literally, you're catering to your audience there. So that's why emojis for me, I'm not a huge fan. I prefer to utilize all that real estate for sales copy, because I think that is what is going to convince a person that's on the fence, is rather than using up characters for emojis, I'd use up, I like to use up the with text and sales copy. So that being said, I don't have an answer as far as how to remove the bullet points, just because I'm not a fan of emojis. So
yeah, I don't know if you can remove the bullet points. I kind of thought they were just in there by default. I'm not too sure. I think on my listing, I still have the bullet points, even with the emojis next to it. That might just be in there by Amazon, and there might not be a way to remove it.
Yeah, I haven't seen listing, but yeah, I think the bullet points do remain in there. Let me take a look here. It says, Angela says, Amazon regularly sends current daily budget and suggested daily budget emails. Do you raise your budget to Amazon's suggested daily budget? Daily budget?
Yeah, so I get these emails fairly often, and always grinds my gears, letting me know that, if I ran out of my budget and it's noon and I got the rest of the day to go, where I'm not advertising. But I would suggest you look at each campaign independently and make a decision on that, because sometimes the suggested daily budget might be 2 or 3 times higher than where you're at, and maybe you don't have the amount of inventory for that, or you don't want to necessarily make that big of a jump. So if your campaign is converting well and it's at a good ACoS for you, I would recommend you definitely take a step increasing it. Maybe you go in between the suggested daily budget, or if the suggested isn't that too high, then you make the jump up there. I just think you always want to take a few steps in getting to the top end budget that you want to go to. Just because that gives time for Amazon's system to kind of keep up and for you to understand how the campaign's doing. So you probably want to get to a point where you're not running into the daily budget every day. That way you can be advertising throughout the entire day. But just be cautious as far as how quickly you make that jump.
All right. Looks like Angela has the next question. Oh, no, Sunny has the next question. Long tail keywords. What are they exactly, and how do we find them and use them for our products? Thank you. So long tail keywords are essentially, rather than using a keyword, for example, let's say, I'm just going to say jungle sticks. That it might be like bamboo roasting sticks, right? It would be the keyword that I'm targeting in my PPC campaign. When you download your search term report, you're going to get additional recommendations on keywords that you'll be able to find which keywords are performing best, right? They're actually, people are clicking and they're buying, and you'll see how many purchases as a result of that keyword. And when we say long tail, what it's doing is it's extending your, maybe someone's very particular and they're saying 36-inch bamboo roasting marshmallow stick for campfires. Now that's a very long phrase. That's no longer a keyword. That's almost like a sentence. So that's why we call those are long tail keywords, essentially, that they're very specific, but they tend to perform really well because it's not often that those long tail keywords are searched, but when they do, they convert. It's like the mindset is already, they've done the research. So for them, they have, initially when they first were looking, they had ideas like, oh, I want to roast marshmallows. So they start their journey, they go on Amazon, they're like roasting marshmallows. So they start that out. And then from there, they start searching, and then they start seeing, oh, wait, like I like this one that's longer than this little short one. So I want the 36-inch roasting marshmallow stick. Then they go into the 36 minute, and then they see all the options. They type in 36-inch roasting marshmallow stick. So now the long tail, it's getting longer and longer and longer. The keywords are getting longer and longer. So the person finally buys at the 36-inch roasting marshmallow stick for campfires because they want to be specific on what their use is for. So then that's what we call a long tail keyword. You're going to find those. They don't get a lot of traffic overall, but when it happens, it's like magic, and then they buy. So is that anything you want to add to that, Cole? I don't know.
I mean, I think you hit it pretty straight on. As far as how to find them, I think using the Keyword Scout tool and Jungle Scout is definitely the way to go. It's going to be those words that have lower search volume. So when you run a search for your product, just scroll down towards the bottom. It's going to be those words that it's not going to have 20,000 views a month. You're going to want to scroll down and find some of those longer words that are a bit more specific to your product. So I think that's a great spot to look for it. Yeah, I think maybe another example would be if you're searching on Amazon and you type in the example we used, roasting marshmallow sticks. If you type that into Amazon on the search bar, you'll see that Amazon pulls up all the relevant searches that are tied to that, where there might be an additional one or two words that are relatable to the product, and it lets you know what customers are also searching. So I would try either of those options to find some of those long tail keywords.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. The search bar with it already auto filling.
Yeah, it kind of does Amazon, let the Amazon do the homework for you.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I guess everybody's at JungleCon today because
yeah, we got a small audience. Those people are more interesting, I guess.
It's all good. Let's see here. So Angela asks, when launching and setting up the automatic campaign, should I set the bids for down only or up and down? Personally, I'm a fan of down only, just because I can determine I'm not going to run out of budget quickly, because if you do up and down, you will run out of budget fairly quickly. And so I like to control that a little better and kind of rein in Amazon's, like, because they will spend it. So
I'll spend your money. Yeah.
so I try to create like some limitations for Amazon to kind of play with. How about you, Cole?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the down only as well. That's what I use pretty much across the board. I know I've heard in the past, some people prefer to use the up and down when they do launch a campaign. That way they can let Amazon's system kind of get some more feedback as far as what's performing well, and it gets a bit more traffic to their listing. So I've heard of that kind of strategy for when you're launching a product, the up and down. I just have had more success and prefer to use the down only for the exact same reason you mentioned, because I don't want to let the spending get out of hand. So yeah, that's just usually the one I go with.
Awesome. And looks like we're at the end, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have a few more questions you want to drop in there, you still have our time. I do. Sunny brought up a good point in replying to ZR's question, and he mentions that the Vine program, if you are brand registered, then it's worth definitely doing the Vine program. You can get, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, up to 5 reviews, verified purchase reviews.
I think you can actually get up to 30 with the Vine. Yeah, I think you can get actually up to 30 reviews. So definitely a quick way to get some reviews. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's basically you give away your product for free, and they have like these Vine reviewers who review your product. So yeah, good little trick to get those early reviews.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's spot on. And so good suggestion there that we overlooked there, Sunny. Any other questions? So how are you guys liking the weekly cadence for having coaching sessions? It was a big request. And so here we are. We're going to be continuously doing the weekly coaching sessions. I know today is probably a light day only because of JungleCon, which we're excited that everybody is at JungleCon. I was actually considering canceling today's just so that to give you that time to go and do that. That being said, I'm going to drop the links in here and head on over to JungleCon, because it looks like we are through with the questions. So take full advantage of this free conference. The goal is that I will be uploading, team and I will be uploading these videos as well in your video library in Freedom Builder Bootcamp, so that you can have access to them there as well. If you wanted to just kind of go through each one at a time, like as in a modular format. So with that said, Cole.
I'll just echo what you said. Go check out JungleCon. All of the speakers who were there yesterday, we do have those videos now available on YouTube. And then the same thing will be with the remaining videos today. But there's a ton of great talent, a lot of great success stories from all of those people who are speaking. It'll kind of blow your mind as far as what they've been able to create out of their Amazon business. And they're experts in the field. If you want to learn anything, in literally any area of selling on Amazon, these are the go-to people. So just go ahead and check it out. Those videos will be up there, and highly recommend you take some time, write down some notes, and learn a little bit about your Amazon business.
Awesome. Well, Freedom Builders, keep crushing it, stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
All right, bye for now.